Hey guys, I'm Terry. That's Nick, and we are moving on to the Western Conference, and we are going to talk about this matchup between the Seattle Kraken and the Colorado Avalanche. I think we can probably agree that Seattle was the biggest surprise, or maybe not the biggest. Boston is
I
there
would say
too.
there's one other bigger surprise, I think, in the league. But yeah.
I think, yeah, I shouldn't say the biggest, but the Seattle Kraken were a surprise
Yes.
on how they were able to follow up their first season. They did add players in the offseason. I was pretty nice to the Kraken in the preseason video predictions we did. I said that I think this Kraken team could potentially squeak into a playoffs, and that's exactly what they did, getting a wild card spot. And now they go on to take on the former champs in this one. Colorado's minus 300 favorites. So obviously the Avalanche are big favorites. And Nick, you get to start first with this one, I believe, right? And you get the tough question. How can the Seattle Kraken win this game or win this playoff series?
We need Philip Grubauer to be a top echelon goaltender during this one because he's going to see a lot of rubber during this series. Once again, it feels like my base argument for how a team can win a series is how their goaltenders play. And that's something I really like to focus on. And they're going to need a big series out of Philip Grubauer. They're going to need some goal scoring out of players like McCann and Beniers and players along that Eberle as well. They're going to need some goal scoring there. And they're going to need to do what they did in the regular season, and that's win games on the road. If they're able to steal a game or two in Colorado, all of a sudden the Avalanche are in trouble in this series. But they are going to need to play their absolute best game. They're going to have to play perfect hockey against this Avalanche team. They're defending Stanley Cup champions for a reason. Spoiler alert, I've picked them to go ahead and win the Western Conference again this year. And maybe another way that they can win is if Makar is out for the series. Like, they're going to need Makar to not play most of these games in order as well, because that's a big piece of the blue line for Colorado. But this is a Colorado team I'm still very high on. I cashed a nice little futures ticket with them to win the division, and I'm going to continue to ride them here through the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bet this series at all because they're minus 300, but the Kraken, how can they win? They're going to need top echelon goaltending from Grubauer, and they're going to need some depth scoring, and they're going to need Beniers to show up in this series, and Eberle, and defensemen as well. I believe Vince Dunn had a really nice year for them as well. But they're going to need to play their perfect hockey.
All right. I don't think. How can I say this? If they need Grubauer to be elite, then they have zero chance of winning the series. I think the Kraken win the series. You mentioned it already. Um, Makar, if he is as injured as, and there is some teams with injury questions going into this playoffs. Makar is a big one. Avalanche announced Landeskog won't play this season. This Colorado team, the only hope for Seattle is I think Colorado injuries, because even if Seattle is able to bring the way they played on the road this season to this playoff series, they played completely different hockey at home.
Yes.
So I know Colorado has home ice advantage in this one, but if the Kraken win the games on the road, a couple games on the road, but they don't win their games at home, that's not going to help them either. So this Kraken team, they're just going to have to pull off an upset, and we've seen upsets happen in the NHL before. I could bring up Minnesota Wild, but I won't. We'll
We could
discuss
bring up
that
the Blue
another time.
Jackets from a few years ago. We can bring up the Blues to getting an 8 seed and winning the cup from it. I mean, here's what Seattle should do. And this is 100% true. Play like you have nothing to lose because you literally have nothing to lose. You made the playoffs in your second overall season as a franchise. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain from this series.
I can agree with that. How can the Colorado Avalanche win? Um, and this is going to sound kind of dumb, but score goals. If if Colorado can have their way with Seattle's goaltending in this series, which they very well may, we're probably going to see both goalies. So I know you brought up Grubauer. But don't be surprised if we see Martin Jones start as well if Grubauer does not play well against the former team. I think for Colorado here, it's about getting your offense going here against this Kraken team, and winning. If you can win the first 2 games here in Colorado, go to Seattle 2-0. I think the Avalanche can get this um, series done soon. But we'll talk about that in the next segment. Nick, how can the Colorado Avalanche beat this Kraken team?
Play normal hockey for them. They're just a better overall team. They're a superior team. Don't play down to this team. Do not take them for granted, and just play your game. That's all you gotta do. This is an Avalanche team that is supremely better. Just remember the things you did last year to go ahead and win the cup. Repeat that again this year. Get good, play with the puck enough in your offensive zone where Georgiev doesn't have to make the crazy saves similar to Kemper last year, and just dominate this team. You're the better overall team. Just play your hockey. Do not look down on this team. Do not overlook this team. Do not be looking towards the second round, because this is a team in the Kraken that can sneak up on you if you overlook this team. So just play your normal game and do not overlook this Kraken team.
All right. And what are your series predictions? What do you think happens in this series?
Avalanche in 4. I think they can. I think this could be. If I had to bet one team, one series to be a sweep, this is it right here. Maybe the Kraken steal 1 game, and maybe Kraken in 5. But I think Colorado cruises through this round. So Colorado in 4 or 5 for me. I also have them. This is another one of my teams. I have 5 teams. I've already given out 3 of them: Tampa, Islanders, and Devils as cup futures and all that. I have Colorado plus 285 to win the West and plus 700 to win the cup.
All right. I think this series goes 5. I think the Kraken do win 1 game. I think Colorado does win the series in 5. But Makar's health will really matter, especially going on to the second round. But this could really help Colorado. If Makar doesn't play in the first round, Colorado gets by Seattle in 4 or 5 games, then they're going to have a rested Makar coming into the second series. So that could potentially help them here. But like Nick said, don't overlook this Kraken team because especially if the Kraken can steal, let's say, game 1 or game 1 and game 2, then things could get really interesting in this series. But I don't think we're going to have very much interesting things happening here. I think this is a series done in 5 games. But that is the series for Seattle and Colorado. Stay tuned for other Western series coming up soon. I know Richie, Dallas, your Stars against my Wild.
Yeah, that's the next one.
Oh, great. That's the next one. So stay tuned, guys. That show will probably be 3 to 4 hours long, but it's okay. Stay tuned. See you guys in a couple.